Welcome to the Unblock Yourself podcast.
Yeah, this is our podcast where we have conversations either together or with people who are chasing their dreams, making some kind of positive change in the world, and living an intentional and unblocked life. If you're just tuning in, we are kicking off our second season of the podcast with a book series.
Season 2. Yeah, we've been talking about different books. We're going to do, I think, about 5. We'll see. Maybe we're going to love it and do more. I don't know.
The plan was to do 5.
Yeah, we've done 1. So this is our second. So it's episode 2 of season 2 of our book series.
If you're the kind of person who has lots of books on your list, this is a great way to grab some key tidbits and either claim that you've read the book after listening to this, or maybe you listen and go, hey, that sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll pick up a copy for myself.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe there's just so much goodness that you just won't end up having to read it.
Yes.
Because you're going to learn all about it.
Because as we said before, who's got time to read a book these days?
I know.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
And lots of people do.
Lots of people do.
It's a good time to spend, but if you're looking for some quick hits, this is a great way to get them. So last time we did talk about the Third Door by Alex Banayan, and if you tuned into that episode, there were 3 things that really stood out to me in that book. The first is this idea that easy is a bad signal, adventure happens to the adventurous, and the third was find your mission and to find your people. Those 3 themes from that book carry over to today's episode and today's book, which is one of my all-time favorites. So I'm very excited.
You are very excited. You've been pumped with this one.
Yeah, it is. It is one of my all-time favorite books. It's The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
Yeah, it's good. It's a short read. It's a small book. I actually love all of his books.
Yeah.
I love the size of them. I know that's an odd thing to like in a book, but
yeah, they're very packable.
Yeah, totally. They're
not
small,
intimidating.
It's just a good size. I like the book. I like the length.
Size does not matter.
Okay. All right. That's great.
So, it is very packable. It's a nice sized book. It's comfortable to read, bring to a coffee shop, on a plane. But let's dig into this. So to prepare for today, actually, what's been fun about this, and we talked about it last time a bit, I've done a lot of the reading of the books. You love listening to me talk about books that I've read. And so
I like listening to books in general.
Yes, listening to books, not reading them.
Audiobooks, yeah.
But just to get ready, I wanted to get some good thoughts down. I wanted to do Ryan Holiday proud when he listens to this episode. He's like, you guys nailed it.
Because he's totally going to listen.
Oh, he's totally tuning into this one. And to prepare, what I wanted to do was just go back, because I take notes on books that I've read. And this book, the first set of notes I took on this book were from June 2016.
Oh, wow.
It's 10 years ago. And
wow. I didn't know the book was that old.
Yeah, it came out in 2014 is when it came out. And so I read this back in 2016. And I think I was fascinated. When I looked at that, I was thinking, why did I read The Obstacle is the Way 10 years ago? So I would have been 38 or 28. At that point, I hadn't really been through like these hard obstacles. As I wrote about just this past week, had some anxiety that I faced in my 20s, and that was tough. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know what compelled me to read it then.
It was probably trending on TikTok.
Maybe. Well, Tim Ferriss definitely recommended it. I remember that being a factor. But I think what I find so fascinating is that this book became one of my favorites because it was critical. Like this became kind of the thing that powered me through everything that went sideways in 2020. So it was, I think, a good lesson in that. You never know what a good book might do for you. This has just been a book that I've read probably 15 times.
Yeah, that's great.
And it was so key. So it is The Obstacles Away. We're going to give a bit of a summary, but a question. We did this last time that I asked you a question, but you didn't have time to prepare for it. So I'm going to seed this one for later because we're going to come back to it.
Okay.
It's called The Obstacles Away. It's about overcoming obstacles.
Okay.
Whitney, we're going to come back to this. What are some obstacles you've faced and overcome in your life?
Oh, really? Okay.
Teaser.
The list is long.
Listen to the end, folks. It's going to get good. So before we get into talking about The Obstacles of the Way, I think we need to talk about Ryan Holiday for a minute.
Yeah. I think we should. I follow him on Instagram. I think he's great. And I'm obsessed with his bookstore.
Yeah.
He has a bookstore. I think it's called like the Painted Porch.
I think that's right.
Yeah, Painted Porch. It's in Texas.
Austin to be specific. Austin, Texas.
Is it though? I think it's not exactly Austin.
Maybe outside of Austin.
I'm going to mess that up. bar stop.
So now he's definitely going to call us out when he listens to this episode.
Anyway, yeah, it just looks so cute. I love that. And did he start? I don't know if you even know this. Did he open the bookstore and then start writing, or was he an author and then kind of opened this bookstore? Do you know?
Well, so he's actually got a bit of a fascinating story, and I think I got this from some of those early conversations he was having with Tim Ferriss on his podcast. So, podcast recommendation, we'll link to it in the show notes. Ryan Holiday is one of Tim Ferriss's first guests.
Okay.
And so he tells a little bit of his personal story. Do you remember, we watched it on Netflix, it's the series, what is the name of that series? The Trainwreck series. Do you remember that? And there's American Apparel was one of the train wrecks.
Yes. Yeah.
So Ryan Holiday, how he got his start is he was in his early 20s. I think he dropped out of college or university and joined as the head of marketing for American Apparel. So he was a big deal.
Oh,
and
wow.
so American Apparel, as they were going through their growth story, he was at the top of his game. Okay. But he was a young guy, like early 20s. And in the documentary, I remember talking about that all these young people without experience were driving the growth of this company that goes public and eventually tailspins out of control. And his story was, you've got a really out of control CEO and a young guy who's just gunning for the top. He's super ambitious, but the anxiety and the burnout that he experienced was crippling. Like he had some real mental health struggles. He talks about that and just was making all kinds of sacrifices for his life that, you know, were short-term. These are the things I relate to this totally in my 20s, that this is just what it's all about. Like it's hustle and like not,
you think you have to, right?
You think you got to do it.
Be a millionaire by the time I'm 30 or, you know, whatever.
Totally. Yeah. So that's actually what he did and got to start. I think that's probably part of the reason that I connected with it, not to that scale that he had, but certainly that idea of anxiety and just grinding without the experience. So he's in this toxic environment, and what he had this sort of spin out that he described, and what kind of saved him from that, saved his life, was finding Stoicism. Stoicism as a philosophy. And that's what he's become known for. And so his bookstore came after he started just getting deeply into writing, and he published 2 books. First one, and I may have them out of order, but the one book that got me hooked on him was Ego is the Enemy.
Yeah.
And the second is this one, The Obstacle is the Way. And he actually has
7 though, isn't there?
He's got a whole book series that flowed from that, but he actually has tattooed on the inside of his forearms, Ego is the Enemy, and on the other, The Obstacle is the Way.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's hot.
It is hot. I would agree with that.
I think we need some tats.
Well, we're looking at tattoos. So I think that I'm like, that's a good idea, but I'm not just going to copy what Ryan did.
Okay, but question for you. So I knew he's like all about Stoicism. I think I don't exactly know what that is. And it's kind of embarrassing to admit live here, but because we're live.
Safe
we're
space.
Not live. But
safe space.
Like, what is that exactly? Like, it's a philosophy.
It is a philosophy. So being stoic, or this idea of being stoic, I think gets related and it's laughed at a lot as this idea of like being a cow, like a cow standing in the middle of a field, the rain falling down, and the cow's just chewing away, not really caring about what's going on. It's just this visual, if you take that as a visual. But if you kind of blow it out from that, Stoicism actually originated back like 300 BC. And I know this from reading and listening to Ryan Holiday's stuff. Certainly not a scholar to the degree that he is, but 300 BC, Zeno was the original philosopher that founded this philosophy. And the idea, I think I've actually got it here. It's the definition. It's a practical philosophy focused on virtue, logic, and emotional resilience in the face of the uncontrollable. So it's this idea that you just go through life and try to keep things in perspective. And when a bad thing happens, it's about staying level. When a good thing happens, it's about staying level. It's mastery and discipline over your mind, body, and spirit.
So, okay. So not like the high highs, low lows. That is my life.
Okay. It's more, I think we've talked about this before. There's 4 quadrants of emotion. I think you're that mad scientist. I tend to be more of the, what was it? Not the politician. It was the judge. That's right.
Yeah.
That more even keel. I think those principles really resonate with me. And so, the Seneca came out, and then sort of started by Zeno, then Seneca, Epictetus, and then Marcus Aurelius might be a name.
Yeah.
And so Marcus Aurelius,
Quotes.
yeah,
you know
quotes.
how much I love quotes.
I know.
So
yeah.
yes.
So Marcus Aurelius he's definitely the most famous. So he's the emperor of Rome, and he really popularized this, and it got picked up in Silicon Valley in business circles. It's definitely something that gets applied as a core philosophy, and Ryan Holiday definitely.
Love that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The wind was in his sails from that as an idea.
All right. I think we should dig into the book.
We should. So Stoicism in a nutshell is just mastery of your emotions. This book is my favorite, and I have read all of the books in his series on Stoicism. The title gives a lot away. So it's the obstacle is the way. Let's give a bit of context, and we'll kind of get into the key takeaways.
Yeah.
Key takeaways. So the title gives a lot away. The notion of the book is it's the obstacle is the way. We all face obstacles. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
For sure.
And he offers 3 simple steps to overcoming obstacles when you face them.
Okay.
My guy, 3 steps.
3 steps.
Always 3. And the 3 steps, it's first perception, this idea of how do you perceive the obstacle that's in front of you. The second is then this idea of action. So if you got to overcome a thing, you may as well get after it. And the third is will. So staying with it and actually persevering through the obstacle. And I think those themes tie really nicely to the 3 that we talked about from the last book. That's what we're going to kind of dig into today.
Cool.
Yeah. I think, so throughout the course of the book, he's going to quote these Stoic philosophers. He's going to talk about some of the origins of Stoicism and sort of feed that in. But I think what's super compelling to me, what I loved about the book, so we'll do the what I loved and what I didn't love so much.
Okay.
So what I love about the book is timeless wisdom. So the logic of what he has to say is it's not overly profound. It's very understandable. It's straightforward.
Yeah.
And then it's stories of timeless heroes. So unlike The Third Door, where we're talking about Lady Gaga and Maya Angelou, who are awesome, but they're celebrities. We're talking about timeless heroes. So he talks about John D. Rockefeller. He talks about Theodore Roosevelt. He talks about Amelia Earhart, Barack Obama, Margaret Thatcher, sort of timeless heroes. And those stories are the ones that he kind of filters into the book. One of his favorite people too is who's one of my favorite people as well, is Abraham Lincoln, which we'll talk about a bit of his stories we go through.
That.
Yeah. So that's what I like. What I don't like so much, if I'm honest, Ryan, feedback for you on this. It's a bit bro at times. Yeah, when you read it, it's a bit bro. It's kind of, we got to have and I'm not one that would usually say stuff like this, but I mean, when you, like the language, we can soften it a bit. It's a little bit like, I think, yes, there's truth. We all get beat down, get up, get after it. But I think we got to take things a little bit with a grain of salt. We're not all beat down the same way. Ryan, tall, white guy, upper middle class.
Yeah.
The degrees to which we get beat down in life isn't, one size fits all. And so
fair. I wonder if that's just the time that he wrote it too. I mean, it is 10 years ago, and I wonder if he wrote it now, how that might
the tone
change.
might be a bit different.
Yeah.
I think it would, in truth. But I think that if you were to pick it up and read it, you might be like, all right, bro, like, yeah, sounds a little. So it's
fair.
It leans into the hustle. It for sure leans into the hustle.
Cool.
That's my critique.
Okay.
But overall, favorite book of all time.
Favorite book. So, I mean, it's doing something right.
It's doing something right. So let's dig into this. So 3 ideas.
3 ideas, of
3
course.
key takeaways. So if you haven't read the book and you're looking for the things, here's the 3. So here's the 3 for me. The first, and we're actually going to follow those 3 parts. So perception, action, and will. So 3 key takeaways that tie into The Third Door. The first is perception, so how you perceive an obstacle, and it ties into this idea of easy is a bad signal. So the idea here that he talks about is that when we run into obstacles, a huge part of how we experience the obstacle is how we perceive it. So when you hit a thing, whether it's at work, in your personal life, wherever it might be, somebody cuts you off in traffic. Is that person an asshole and have they ruined your day? Or was it a person who's also in a rush and we're all just driving on the highway, trying to get to where we need to get to? So much of what defines an obstacle for us is how we perceive it. And I love this idea because it forces or it challenges you to step back from whatever it is that you're encountering, to say like, what am I bringing to the perspective on this thing that I'm facing? And there's two ideas tied to this. The first is this idea of be objective. Look at something as it is. When you come to me in the morning and you give me a big hug and a kiss and say, "Good morning, Greg. I love you." And I take that as it is.
I'm laughing.
I know.
Because it's
usually
not
it's
really
more like
how the
morning
starts.
whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know,
coffee.
And I might take it as what it is. It's early in the morning. We did or did not have a good sleep. The kids have or have not been assholes so far today. Sorry, kids. I know you listen to this. You guys are great. And so just taking it for what it is instead of layering on the, I wish she would have, or I wish that they did. Like, what's behind this emotion? Just take it for what it is.
Right.
Objectively, it's the morning. It is what it is. So that's the first. And the second idea is this idea of perspective. So just what is the perspective that you're bringing to a situation? So there's actually, I need to share on this side. So there's actually, and I'm flipping through the book now. I don't know if you can hear that, but on page 59 of the book. So I write in these books that we're talking about. I have a note in here. So on page 59, and I'm just going to read it.
When did you take that note?
Pardon?
When did you take that note?
I will tell you in a moment.
Okay.
So I put a note and a big star circled it, like this note. It says, "No one is talking glass half." So the chapter is all about what is your perspective, finding the opportunity. And no one is talking glass half full style platitudes here. This must be a complete flip, seeing through the negative, past its underside, and into its corollary, which is the positive. So see things like, what is your perspective? Is your perspective negative by default? Or can you look at it as positive, glass half full?
Right.
I started this, circled it, and I wrote it on June 16th, 2020, which is the day before Allison died.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I was just trying to challenge myself to see like this horrible thing that's happening. Like, what is the perspective I can bring to this? I know, right? Like, this is how this book impacted me. It's like, I'm in this dark moment, but I'm looking for, how can I bring a positive perspective to this?
Wow.
And I think that's the power of these ideas. Like,
do you remember? Like,
I
did
do.
that help? Like, you do remember it?
As soon as I read it and picked it up, I'm like, oh, I remember that morning, like sitting there being like, okay, what is the positive from this? Like, there is so much negative. There is, obviously, but where's the positive in this? Where's the light in the darkness? Yeah. I think it's just about when you encounter an obstacle, the whole idea is, what is it? So be objective. Like, what is this thing that I'm facing? Is like the house is on fire. It's like, just, it is what it is. And then second, you get to choose your perspective.
Right.
It can just be the worst thing in the world, or you can try to see it. And I think people who have known me through that time, as you have, it's like, well, you didn't grieve enough, or you weren't sad enough, or whatever. Certainly I did. Like, I certainly have. And we still carry that grief in our family. But I mean, we've got to just look for what is the good that comes from these bad things. Any obstacle, you can look at it through that lens. I think that's what I take from that. Nice. And the idea of easy is a bad signal. It's like, it's not easy to think that way or act that way.
No,
so
it's not. And I think that's not what people expect. It's the opposite.
No, I think I think there's a perfect alignment to that. It's not easy to have that perspective, but it's like part one of the book. What is your perspective? Easy is a bad signal. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to have a good perspective, but it's worth the effort.
That's great.
Takeaway number 1.
I love that. Number 1.
And I thought that was crazy when I looked that up. And I was just flipping through the book. I'm like, holy crap. Oh, yeah. I dated it. Yeah. Anyway, that was wild.
I wonder when you're going to read it again. It'll be like another time in your life when you pick it up.
Yeah. After we have a big fight or something.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay. Let's lighten it up. Key idea number 2. Big idea number 2. This is all about action.
Okay.
So big idea number 2, last time was adventure happens to be adventurous. Here we're talking about action. So you encounter an obstacle, you may as well get after it. So act, take action and move. Oh my gosh, I got to go back to the book. Page 71, you're going to love this. You love quotes.
I do love quotes.
So page 71 of the book, he opens the chapter with a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. long time, old time, great president of the United States. You're gonna love this.
Yeah.
The quote from Theodore Roosevelt is, we must all either wear out or rust out. Every one of us. My choice is to wear out. So say that again because it's awesome. We must all either wear out or rust out. Every one of us. My choice is to wear out.
Okay.
We're all going to die.
How do you interpret that? Like,
we're all going to die.
Yeah.
So we're either going to rust out and like get sick and die.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to push and drive and move and just eventually break down and wear out because you've put so much work in. I love it so much.
I like that.
Well, you like it. You don't love it as much as I did.
No, I do like it. I think something that I've been thinking about as it relates to this book is like, when is the obstacle the way, and when is it the universe actually saying stop? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I mean, I know people have done certain things. They keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's not working. And, you know, is that, I believe in signs, and I believe that the universe has a plan of some sort. I don't know, but sometimes it's like, should people be paying attention to signs when the resistance is so intense? Like, maybe that is the universe saying stop, opposed to like, oh, keep going, keep pushing through. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm a bit torn on it.
I think well, I think maybe you have an example of yourself here. I'm wondering if you do. Because I do think that you're right. I think we've seen people that are like, I think give it up. Like you should stop. So, but I think we are, and the book definitely leans into this idea of, you got an obstacle, just work through it. I think that's like part of that hustle culture thing, is the idea of, well, just grind it out. You got to work hard.
Yeah.
But I think it's a fair point. I think only you can know ultimately.
Fair. Yeah.
But do you have
well, like, I guess an example I was thinking about, and it's not really personal, but this is just a more generic example, is like, let's say you have like a new offer that you're launching, and so you believe in it, you market it, you're showing up consistently and pushing this thing out, and then like it's kind of crickets, like nothing's happening with it. So, you know, if you think about like, is it like the obstacle is the way, so you're like refining the messaging, you're tightening kind of your niche, and the obstacle is kind of like revealing what you need to improve? Or is it more like, if the universe is saying stop, like maybe it's actually that you secretly don't enjoy it. It's like draining your energy. You know what I mean? Like, I think could be one of those two things. And I think you have to pay attention maybe to which one it is.
Yeah. Well, I do think I would take it back. I think Ryan here would say, let's be objective about the obstacle that we're facing. Mm-hmm. Like, is this, so you launch the product and it's not being picked up or well received. Is there an objective problem with the thing that you're doing? Did you do everything that you could have done?
Right.
Or is it a product problem? Like, where is that problem? And I think in a case where people just blindly push through things, I think, so on the one hand, people who blindly push through and persevere, and they have a truly great and exciting idea, I think we've seen those people, and we know the end story of how that turned out for those who were successful. But in the moments, we don't necessarily see the brilliance of that. We see that's just somebody blindly pushing through.
Right.
But I think there are cases where that person objectively would evaluate and say, I think the world doesn't get it yet. I need to keep going. And they believe in the vision that they have. And I think that I would celebrate that ultimately.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Whereas the other side is, this has to work. I need to find a way. And not reading the signs objectively, I think, would be then doing it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. Like, are you really pushing something that the world needs, or are you pushing something that you want the world to want? Right. I think that feels like the distinction that is really hard to externally evaluate. I think it's more of a like
internal
you thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you being objective? Are you being objective about the obstacle? Yeah. I love that though.
I think another part of that is like, do people quit too soon when things are uncomfortable? Right. That's like another angle. And I think a personal example that I have is, so we have this Unblock Yourself program, and I've never loved facilitating it. We were both facilitating this program. So we would it's all virtual. So we'd join these calls, we'd facilitate it, and it would really drain my energy, whereas it gave you energy. You loved it. Yeah. And I would constantly be told, I'm really good at it, and I'd have lots of great feedback, but it would just drain my energy facilitating. It's just not something I enjoyed doing. So I think I was trying to push through. It's like, the obstacle's the way. So like, maybe I should be doing this, and it's uncomfortable and I need to just keep pushing through. But it didn't get better after like a year. So I feel like, if I would have started to enjoy it, then maybe. So I don't feel like I quit too soon. It was a year. But now Greg is solely facilitating our unblock sessions, and I'm doing all sort of the back end, like operation side of things, which I'm loving. I love it. I love that. I could do that all day, like the marketing, building all the materials, brainstorming, like all of that stuff. I love that, but I do not love the facilitation of it. So anyway, I think I just thought about that too in terms of...
Do you feel like you gave up too soon?
No, I do think because it was a year of doing it. And so I don't think that's too soon. But if I just threw in the towel after our first session and was like, nope, I don't like that. No, I kept doing it. I kept showing up. We kept kind of pushing through and keeping me involved, even though like I mean, I was not like fun to be around.
No, those are some dark days. Those are just some dark days.
Which is ridiculous. It's a great program. Like with people, I have a different perspective. I think I wish I loved it more so that, I don't know, so that there was two perspectives, because I know that I hear things differently than you do. And so during those programs, like I wish that I could have loved it more, but I just don't.
Well, and now I think we found ways, and you found ways to make the whole thing better by being involved in different ways. And I think that I think this idea of action as like working through the obstacle, I think that is what you did. I think you stayed in it. We worked through it. And then I think we wound up with
our own lanes.
But we could have just stopped, or you could have just been like, all right, I guess this is what it is, and I just got to do it.
True. Yeah.
I think that it's the action piece. I think you persevered through it. And I think it's also then the third takeaway. So this idea of will is persevering through the challenge, staying with it and seeing it through to the other side, which you absolutely did. Like we didn't launch another version of this until we had figured out, well, it's the right way for it to do it, to go. And that's just one example, but I think it's true for everybody is you encounter the obstacle, like how do I look at that? Then you actually take action and do the thing that's hard. And then when it gets hard and dark and you don't have the answers, you actually continue to persevere through and you just keep going. That's the will piece. And you arrive at a better place. I do think I think that is overcoming an obstacle. I think we covered...
I like the will piece. Let's talk about that a bit more.
Well, so first, again, is this idea of perspective. Second, we just talked through that. I think action, how do you actually encounter that obstacle and move through it? And third, will is actually persevere, keep going. And when Ryan Holiday talks about it in the book, he talks about the idea of perspective, of what is the obstacle and you encounter it. That is in the discipline of the mind. Action is discipline of the body. Will is discipline of the soul.
Ooh, I know. So good.
So good. And it's sticking with it through a hard time. The example, and I said we would come back to this. So you, Whitney, persevering. the soul, the discipline of the soul to stick with it for the Unblock program parallels nicely to this. And the story that he tells that stood out to me is Abraham Lincoln. So Abraham Lincoln, I was interested enough that I read a really long biography of Abraham Lincoln called Team of Rivals, which I'd recommend. We're not going to cover it in this series. But think of it this way. In the modern terms, the people who were holding his hand when he was dying, after he had been shot, he survived for a day or two before he actually passed away. But in modern terms, it would be the equivalent of, let's call it Donald Trump having been shot and laying in bed, and it'd be like Joe Biden and Barack Obama holding his hand and saying, you'll be, it's okay. You can go now. Like his opponents and enemies became, because you can't imagine that in our context today.
No,
it's like an impossible
really
context.
Careful. I'm like, I don't know what to say.
But those two polarized sides, it's the equivalent. They were dire opponents,
right?
But they had such admiration and respect for him, because the way, again, it's framed in the book is when Abraham Lincoln spoke, his words went into other people's hearts because they came from his. Like his whole mission was just so like driven. Like he got beaten down and lost so many times to the example you were sharing. It's like, why didn't he give up? He just believed, and history proved him right. He may not have persevered, and he may have just never achieved what he hoped, but he just believed and he persevered and he persevered, and he became one of the great leaders and stories of history, not only of the United States and our culture, but the world. And so I think this idea we talked about last time was find your mission, you'll find your people. Like people will buy into that. If you persevere through the hard and you stick with it, people will notice and they'll believe. And so that idea of his words went into people's hearts because he spoke from his, I think is gold.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So that's it.
That's it.
Is one, again, easy is a bad signal. What is your perspective on a situation? Adventure happens to the adventurous is all about action. You got to move, create your own momentum. Momentum won't be created for you. And then third, find your mission, you'll find your people. This ties really nicely to this idea of will. Stick with it, believe, and you can get through. So that's really what we wanted to cover about The Obstacle Is the Way.
That is great. It is a good book. I read it a while ago. I get the impression that you remember almost everything you read. I don't know how you do that, but you will like reference books, and I will read books and be like, I don't know. I think that was this book or that author. I don't have that bank of
quoting with confidence is also,
I guess, in my brain.
Quoting with confidence is also good. Whether it's from that book or not, people will believe you if you quote with confidence.
Yeah, true.
But I will say with confidence, everything we've quoted today is from this book.
Yes. And you did have papers in front of you, which makes me feel a bit better.
Yeah, this wasn't all straight from memory. But before we go, Whitney, I did say we'd come back to this question.
I know,
this is the teaser right at the end. We talked about this. We had to talk about this. What are some of those obstacles that you faced? I mean, we talked a little bit about it.
What do you mean? I've had so many.
We talked about, I think you gave us a good example of overcoming the facilitation piece in the program, but an obstacle. Like, do you have something that comes to mind that this resonates for, or do you feel like you already covered it?
I feel like one of my example was going to be the program. Like it was a big obstacle for me. And so I think we figured that out. We obviously have a lot of other personal ones we could dig into, but I think
we're good for today.
Length is good.
And we're good for today.
For today.
People can also go back to some of those early episodes where we get into a bit of your story.
Exactly. There's lots of goodness.
So that's book number 2, The Obstacle Is the Way, one of our all-time favorites from Ryan Holiday, who feels like a good friend, but we've never met him.
No. We should go to his bookstore, though.
We should go to his bookstore. And what we do have coming up, we're excited. We have book number 3 coming up in just another couple of weeks from now, which is we're switching gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about discipline. We're going to talk a little bit about paradox. We're going to talk about what Brene Brown is up to.
I was going to say, it sounds very Brene Brown.
Very Brene Brown. And we're going to talk about her book that has been a big inspiration for us, which is called Strong Ground. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for that one. We'll be talking about that very soon. But hope this is helpful. Hope you found it interesting. And either get out there, buy a copy of the book, The Obstacle Is the Way by Ryan Holiday, or just tell everyone that you've now read it.
Yeah, that's fine too.
We hope you enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in. We always love time with you. Thanks for being here.
That's it for today. If you like this episode, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you'd be willing to leave a rating or a review, we do read every single one. And it genuinely helps more people find the show and helps us keep doing what we're doing. And if you do like this episode and what we're talking about here, you'll probably love our 100% free bi-weekly newsletter. It's called the Vienna 5, and you can find the link to that in the show notes. Music for this podcast is by Moby, who we still think is very cool. We're glad you're here. Thanks so much for listening.